way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay, living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. No fees, no more 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go by.
What's going on, Crypto Paradise fam? Another wild week. We thought last week was crazy when we got on here, and we're talking about some of the stuff that's been going on in the markets. And here we are once again. This week, not to be outdone by last week, we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about here today. With me, as of course, we've got the Crypto Hitman. What's going on today? How you doing?
What is going on? What's crazy is, days move slow, volatility is high, craziness going on with tariffs, and the stock market looked terrible, which put pressure on Bitcoin. And are we doing a strategic reserve? Whatever. We'll get into these topics. But I'm looking at the chart here, and when we were live last Wednesday, it was like 93,000 Bitcoin. And after all that, we're sitting here at 90,000 Bitcoin, which is pretty crazy to think about, because when you're looking about 3,000 on a $90,000 asset, that's not even a 1% move. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of bullish news coming out around crypto. A lot of that we're going to be talking about here today. But we've also seen markets going down and then back up, and then everyone's like, great, we're back. And then the next day, all of those gains are completely wiped out. What's your take on the just the overall state of things right now?
Well, I think we're seeing, pressure in the markets for a couple of reasons. Number one, Michael Saylor hasn't raised another $2 billion in about a week, so that slows us down. Number two, you do have a couple negative headlines. El Salvador is getting that loan or that funding, and they were demanded not to buy any more Bitcoin, but they kind of gave them the middle finger yesterday and bought another Bitcoin, so that's good to see. But really, that's all there is for bad news. The rest of the downward pressure has really been coming from the fear, the FUD around Trump's tariffs that put pressure on the stock market, which put pressure on risk on assets such as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And then we see a cascading effect because people get levered long, so those get washed out. And that's kind of where we were. So, so far, you could argue that we got a V-shaped recovery here off the low of 78,000. We're back to 90,000. There is a big crypto meeting or conference or whatever you want to call it on Friday with the federal government. We'll see what gets announced. A lot of speculation that the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve will be announced. A lot of speculation that a sovereign wealth fund that includes assets such as Solana, ADA, and XRP gets announced. a lot of speculation and rumors that maybe no capital gains taxes on American-made cryptos. That would be a little bit of a stretch. Wouldn't kick in right away, obviously, but that would be absolutely wild. And then, of course, we just got done with some Ethereum conferences this week. We have the Pulse Chain conference tomorrow, and we've seen the SEC for the past 2 weeks, almost every single day was dismissing or getting beat in court by a crypto project or crypto product. Normally, when an SEC case would be beaten, that would have been a 10% move for Bitcoin and a 100% move for the underlying asset. The last 2 weeks have been doing one a day, and it's really been meaningless in the market. But what I think it tells you is it isn't baked into the market under current construction. And when the lever wants to turn on, that news will recycle once again. Those products and platforms and projects will have that extra capital and that extra ability with the regulatory framework to really push harder than ever.
Yeah, these last 2 weeks have felt like a year in crypto with everything that's been going on. Got a lot of people very, very bearish on the current state of the markets. Michael Saylor, the perma bull, I don't know if you saw a statement recently saying he's expecting the market cap of Bitcoin to 200 trillion. Yes, that's trillion with a T, not, I mean, it's already past 200 billion, but 200 trillion with a T. Which I don't even, can you imagine even what that would look like? He's obviously not saying that's going to happen this cycle, but, you know, in the relatively near future, supposedly.
That's over 100x?
What's that?
That's over 100. That's over 100x on Bitcoin. Jeez.
Yeah, that's like a $10 million Bitcoin.
If Bitcoin does 100x, I think we'll finally get a 3x out of Ethereum.
Well, some Ethereum news here. You know, most of the crypto news, most of the news within crypto, it has been very bullish. You mentioned a lot of really, really positive stuff. There has been a couple negative things, most of which, you know, are coming off of, you know, traditional market fears, traditional market, you know, traditional markets being down. And a lot of, you know, kind of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The good old FUD hitting the traditional markets there with the trade wars, which I'm sure we'll get into here in a minute. But we saw the ETH Bitcoin pair at its lowest in 4 years this week. A lot of those, you know, new reserve coins like ADA, XRP, Solana, they've dumped back down more than 20% since their pumps off of that news over the weekend. You know, we've seen some other things, not necessarily a real positive update, but last week we were talking about the Bybit hack, and we were talking about how they had laundered some of that money and liquidated some of it through Pump.Fund. Well, in the last week, they've managed to liquidate almost the entire $1.4 billion, majority through things like Pump.Fund and through Thorchain. Now, some of that's traceable, some of it's not, but regardless, that money has now been sold. You know, again, not necessarily the greatest sentiment, depending on how you look at it. I guess it's a bull case for the power of DeFi in some ways.
I think that is the one thing that I missed that causes extra downward pressure on Ethereum. That's why I continue to underperform and went to like $1,900 or $2,000. So it's good to hear that almost all of that is sold because, well, that's 1.4 billion on ETH. That's equivalent to something like 4 billion, 5 billion on Bitcoin. You know, we get excited when Michael Saylor buys 2 billion. Imagine if he was selling 5 billion over the course of a week. That's essentially what Ethereum just had to survive while Bitcoin was going from 90,000 down to 78,000.
Yeah.
So when you put that in context, I guess it didn't do too bad on that dump when you have 1.4 billion of sell pressure on top of Bitcoin going to 78K.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, maybe that is a bull case for ETH if we have to find a silver lining in there somewhere that it hasn't dumped harder than it has been. Gotta take your wins where you can get them, I guess. But I mean, somebody's at least been cashing in on the ETH crash here. I think the hyperliquid shorter. If you're not familiar, there was a shorter. Someone obviously had some sort of insider news. But after the pump we saw, 3-4 days ago with the markets rallying back up, you know, Bitcoin up one of its biggest days ever, 12% in a day essentially. And then the next day, all of that erased with the second largest dump we've seen in Bitcoin history in the markets. Or I guess maybe not Bitcoin, but the overall markets, crypto markets, lost total market cap, second largest ever. But somebody was in the know on Hyperliquid, shorting Ethereum, I think with something like $20 million. Not a trivial amount, not something you just ape in on a whim. They obviously knew something was going on. They're now up over, I don't know if they've stopped that trade yet, but have made over $81 million in a day or two here on that short there. So hey, at least someone's making some money on Ethereum.
Well, what else we got going on in the markets? I guess, is there any, networks that you're looking at or altcoins that you're looking at, sectors that you're looking at?
Well,
Obviously, a lot
yeah,
of the
that's
positive SEC news was primarily for centralized exchanges such as Coinbase, Kraken, also a DEX and Uniswap. Now, the
Yuga
one network
Labs.
that did, yeah, the one network that got the consensus, the one network that did get the nod and actually beat SEC in course would be Pulse Chain. It did relatively well. It pumped about like 56%, but again, with the market weakness, it gave up almost all those gains. Now it's only sitting up 10-15% from the SEC news. But what other networks are you looking at? What sectors are you looking at? What's up?
Well, I've been kind of playing catch up here this week. I haven't had a lot of time to dive into new stuff. I've been hearing a lot. I'm just starting to do some research for a video on the Sonic chain. That's been getting a lot of hype here in the last week. I don't know if you've heard much about that, but I'll be doing some research and hope to have a video out for you guys next week on what's going on over there in the Sonic network. Might just be another flash in the pan, another short-lived hype. We've seen that kind of stuff many times in the last year or two since the last bull run with everything from Arbitrum and ZK Sync to Barachain and like all these other L1s, Sui, Aptos. Like I tend to not get too excited. I'm not too eager to go jump on the new bandwagon simply because we've had literally hundreds of new L1s get hyped over the last few years, and none of them have really seen any major success. Outside of Solana. Some might argue Sui a little bit and Base, but I mean, still nothing too crazy there. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
seen Sonic pop up in my newsfeed a bit with people, mostly people posting about altcoins that are running over there, but I haven't taken a deep look just yet. Been busy with Bitcoin and Ethereum, also busy with Pulse Chain and looking to launch the Surf token on Pulse Chain for Crypto Paradise. But I see it on the feed, and I don't know. Like you said, to me, from a surface level, just when I think it's going to be a flash in the pan. I don't really know who's backing the network. I'm not seeing major tokens getting hype. It's like really small cap gems, which are pretty easy to manipulate to try to onboard users. Trying to replicate that of like Solana, for example. But again, I don't know much about it. I have seen it on the news feed. I have seen that some small caps over there are ripping, according to posts. But nothing that too excites me that I needed to stop everything and take a look. And we'll see where it moves forward. Again, like you said, there's been a lot of flash in the pans. A lot of flash in the pans for networks that have much bigger backing than Sonic 2. The only thing Sonic could have going forward is if we did just make major lows and the bull market is about to be underway, they get the benefit of timing for the market that could help it. But at that point, all the other networks that you're already familiar with are going to have uptrends and a lot of opportunity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like I said before, just don't get too excited about any of these L1s until they made major progress. Have actual users on board, actual apps launching, actual TVL, actual transaction volume, etc. Doesn't we've got too much going on with.
I guess
work.
The other first question would be, where is Sonic located? If it's not a made in America, it's already going to get a ding too. Because that's another thing that potentially could get a big bump, regardless of if there's no capital gains on USA tokens. Just the fact that once the strategic reserve goes into place, that's going to be a big sector. And Ethereum's in that category, Solana's in that category, ADA's in that category, Pulse Chain's in that category, Base is in that category. So there's already a big handful of made in America layer ones and layer twos that would make it very hard if Sonic isn't considered made in America.
Yeah, here's a good chart actually. Saw earlier today of that big winners of the USA crypto policy. So we have some overlapping here. So we've got ETF application tokens, blockchain projects that have attended the White House, mentioned by Trump, and then made in the USA. You can see where they all overlap here. There's two tokens that have all of that going for them. That's XRP and ADA.
And maybe that's why you probably mentioned them.
Yeah. So I mean, AVAX, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all obviously is in some of the inner circles here. Made in the USA coins. I don't see Sonic in here. I don't know how up to date this is. I don't see Sonic anywhere on here. So they may not have made enough news to get on this chart at all yet. But I guess time will tell. My whole kind of overarching theory on new L1s or really any new trend is. If you go chasing every shiny new object that comes into this market, you're never gonna really get anything more than maybe lucky every once in a while catching a few little altcoin pumps here and there, you're most likely gonna end up chasing your tail and losing money. It's better to find a style of trading, find a trend, find some projects that you really believe in, and go deep into that, whether that's a trading strategy. We've talked about many on this platform or on Crypto Paradise before. Everything from we've been very big on pre-sales, which have been done terribly in the last year, but pre-sales, memes, AI tokens, whatever that happens to be. If you're just jumping from trend to trend to trend, it's gonna be very difficult to make money over the long term. So that's part of why I don't go chasing these.
It's not the most exciting thing always to kind of sit on your hands, but if you have a valuable TA setup or a valuable fundamental structure or a valuable thesis on the market, you need to get your positions and have a little bit of time. Yes, it is nice. Sometimes you can make a trade and make 30% gain, sell it and buy it back cheaper, and there is time periods in which that works. But normally that's on the projects you have the most conviction in and the most knowledge on, because when their news is happening, when their vesting schedule is happening. You're willing to buy back on a dip after you sold for profits because the future and the fundamentals of the token. So the more in tune you are with the individual tokens, arguably is the better you can trade it as well, because you have more knowledge, more information that other people don't have, and more conviction to keep trading that asset for the long term. If you get caught in a bad trade, you're like, okay, I'm all right sitting on this for a bit, and it can go higher. Also, on top of that, if you're chasing everything all the time, you're going to miss out on the opportunity. If you found the golden goose, and you're going to miss out on a 10x, 100x, 1000x. For example, we have the trading group with Learn Crypto. We do a lot of trading on large caps, small caps, mid caps. We win a lot. We lose some. It is what it is. But PTGC is one of the few assets. We bought it, we held, and we did not sell. We have 15 or 16 buys with one sell, and of course, we bought it back cheaper. Well, what do you know? That thing is a 340x or whatever the math is, 145x. I don't know where we're standing currently because it's market dip. But that only happens when you have conviction and understand how something's going on. Because otherwise, you're selling that for a 40% gainer or a 50% gainer, and you're missing out on a 3,500% gainer. So if you do that too much and you chase from narrative to narrative with all your capital, yes, you might have some winners here and there, but you're never going to have those big home runs. And then that's best case scenario, because a lot of times, like you said, when you start chasing is when you start losing and your capital keeps dwindling and you're paying bridge fees and transaction fees, and your portfolio gets too spread out too thin. You don't really know where your capital is or even what your thesis is anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a quick shout out here to everybody that is in the Crypto Paradise fam, that is a part of the Learn Crypto Paradise or LearnCrypto.io group. You guys are why we're here. And hopefully, as Nick just mentioned there, when you stick with not only a project but with groups like this long term, if you're jumping in and out, if you're tuning in and engaging with some content versus the guys that are there every day in and out, those are the guys that get rewarded with those pulse chain calls. With those 150, 200x calls, with the memes that we launched earlier or talked about earlier this year, with the surf token that's coming up. So when you just like with projects, when you find groups that are legitimate and offer legitimate alpha, and you can become a part of that community, it really benefits you to actually get in there and engage. Because I'm sure there's some guys in your group, Nick, that are kind of come and go, that have missed calls because of that. Same with Crypto Paradise. We got some amazing things coming up with the surf token and new projects we'll be working with. So guys, just a quick reminder, turn on those notifications, subscribe, make sure you're tuning in for the spaces, make sure you're tuning in for these live streams, make sure you're part of the Crypto Paradise Telegram group. That's where you're going to get the earliest alpha and the best alpha, and you're going to get it the most consistently. So not every single thing we talk about on here is a winner, but we definitely win a lot more than we lose on here. And if you want to find those one or two a cycle 100 plus X's, you got to be consistent and tuning in and engaging regularly.
Yeah, and essentially what you're describing there is what some people do. They get in trading groups, whether it's mine or it could be big ones like Palm Beach Confidential or Elliott Wave or any of these massive groups, and then you cherry pick trades. If you're in a group and you believe in what they're doing, you can't cherry pick trades, because here's the thing. If I take 10 trades, in theory, my goal is to win 6, lose 4. Now, realistically, I'm winning 8, losing 2. But if you cherry pick 1 or 2 trades and you pick one or both losers out of the 10, well, everybody else in the group is excited. They got the big winner. They got the passive income, whatever, and you only took 1 of the 10 trades and you lost. When you're taking trades or you're taking ideas, you're trying to take equal position sizes in each trade, And if you win more than you lose, you're ahead of the game. You only got to win 6 out of 10 if you're taking equal position sizes. You can't put 10 grand into one that's a loser and then 1 grand into the 9 winners. Well, you're going to end up still being a loser. So you have to be careful in what you're doing. You can't cherry pick information. And I say that not in the trade thesis, but also in who you're listening to. Now, not to say that we're the best of the best. You should only listen to us. There's a lot of other good people. But make sure to tune in consistently. Put it on in the background. Check the Telegram app real quick for 5 minutes. See what's going on so you digest all the information in the space, but you're getting our information on a daily basis so you know where we stand on the market, where we stand on altcoins, what sectors we're looking at. At least you have the understanding where we are, and then you can make your own financial decisions off of that. But when you cherry pick trades, just like when you cherry pick information, you're going to be lost, you're going to be left behind. And then when we do say something you like, you're not going to take action on it because you don't know that we've been talking about it for 10 times or that we've given 15 buys on PTGC that are all on the green or whatever it may be.
Absolutely. And also, speaking of, consistent followers, consistent engagers, shout out. We got about 100 people right now already tuned in on the live stream here. Big thanks to you guys showing up today. As always, please help us out. Like it, retweet it, spread the word around to other people, and leave us a comment. If you hear something we're saying that you like or that you don't like, let us know. If you see something you want to talk about, you think we missed in the market update, let us know in the comments. Shout out to Crypto Compassion. I like this chart. Great alpha. Cheers. Thanks for it's a YouTube, I believe, or it might be there on. Let me see if that's YouTube or on X. Either way, it doesn't matter. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. So overall, we've have a ton of bullish news, coming in on the crypto side of things. Obviously, a lot of uncertainty in the traditional markets with the trade wars, with inflation scares, with Powell still not wanting to budge on rate cuts. A lot of uncertainty, and the markets are reflecting that down a bit here. Where do you think this takes us in the relatively short term? I'm talking the next month to 2 months here. Let's just say the next quarter, because we'll be ending quarter 1 here in March. Are we going to continue a V-shaped recovery, blast right back up to new all-time highs, and rage on with the bull market, or do you see us consolidating here for the next little bit?
From a technical perspective, for stocks, you're sitting on the daily for NASDAQ, which is what I like to look at because that's more risk on assets, which more applies to what Bitcoin and cryptos are. You're sitting on the 200 moving average. So now would be a great time for a bounce. But realistically, you do have the 300 moving average a few percent lower at like 19,400, which obviously would put more pressure on Bitcoin. But I think there will just be short-term volatility with the uncertainty around tariffs, with everything that's going on. But I am telling you, first of all, I love how everything's called a trade war now. But I want people to reflect on what this 25% tariff means. What I want you to do is go on Google and type in tariffs against the United States. Did you know that Canada has dozens of tariffs that aren't 25%, that are 200%, 300%, 605%, 258%? Did you know that China already has tariffs against us? Did you know that European Union already has tariffs against us? Did you know that countries have VAT taxes against us? So it's interesting when other countries do it to the United States, it's perfectly good and great because the country has so much money. But when we do it back, or we're planning reciprocal tariffs April 2nd, then it's a trade war. So that's all I want you to do. I want you to just open your mind, go to Google, search what tariffs have against the United States, and then reflect on what 25% and 10% tariffs mean for us. So that's as deep as we'll go on tariffs. We'll see what happens with them. We'll see the negotiations. But this isn't a new thing. There's many countries that have tariffs against us. Now, the market isn't liking it, clearly. The stocks are down. Crypto is down. The only thing that's still up is collectibles, like Pokemon cards. So at least I have that going for me. But overall, I think it's really hard to be bearish and really hard to say the bull market is over for crypto with everything that's going on. Hopefully some really, really good news on Friday turns the ship around, keeps the V-shaped recovery going. And like I said, stocks could be bottoming right here, right now on the 200 moving average. But even if it falls down, let's see. Let's just do the measure move since I'm staring at the chart. NASDAQ can fall another 5% before I really got concerned. That would be the 300 moving average, which is proven to be support at times during this multi-year uptrend. And if you go below that, that's when the wheels might be falling off. But again, I think that would be hard to happen because we're seeing data from Truflation, and they're projecting that inflation is actually down to 1.45%. And currently, me and Ian talked about this, they are 45 days ahead of the Fed, which means potentially in 43 days from now, or whenever the next CPI reading is, they're going to show for the first time in 5 years that inflation is below the 2% target, and maybe we get those interest rate cuts, and maybe we get some of that cheaper capital that will pump our NASDAQ stocks, that will pump our risk on assets like collectibles and Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the meeting on Friday is going to tell us a lot about, what the markets, how they're reacting. Is this going to be another, buy the news, or buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event? Personally, I kind of lean towards, unless we get some really, really bullish news out of there, unless they're, it's something like, hey, we're going to start buying now, or here's the date we're start buying. It's the very near future, and it's going to be, this much. I think if it turns out, we get a nice little pump here, and we haven't seen the end of the downside yet. I do think we range for a while. I think, we need QE, and we need a little more stability in the traditional markets before that. The M2 money supply that we've talked about which is continues to pump. Starts dumping back into risk on assets. But something to take note of that is super, super important here. A lot of people are getting scared and shaken out. Even some of the top people in crypto started to capitulate and get worried, go bearish, even sell some assets here in the most recent dumps. If you look at what's going on behind the scenes, we've already talked about dozens of things that are actually bullish in the news for crypto. All the SEC cases, the crypto strategic reserve getting announced, regulatory things coming down the pipeline. Japan's SBI is backing USDC. There's new airdrops coming out. But one thing to look at is, where's the money going? Believe it or not, fundraising, while for most average run-of-the-mill projects, your lower market caps, even a lot of the newer projects that are getting ready to launch are having trouble raising funds. Money is definitely still flowing into crypto, the smart money. Flowdesk has raised another $102 million in the last month for their crypto financial services. Metaplanet grabbed $87 million to stack more Bitcoin. Across Protocol scored $41 million for their cross-chain bridging platform. Infrared pulled another $14 million for Barachain's ecosystem. So there is tons of big money players still investing and believing in this industry. Michael Saylor keeps doubling down on his bet. We saw GameStop is coming in. More and more of these institutions, more nation states, El Salvador going against the IMF, finger wagging, say, don't you buy no more Bitcoin, or we're not going to give you any loan. And Bukele waved right back with two fingers of his own and went out and bought more Bitcoin. So look at what the big money, look at the people what the behind the scenes are doing. We don't need to get into too much into quote unquote conspiracy theories or market manipulation theories and stuff. But if the big money, if these traditional institutions, they're very, very risk sensitive. If they're buying, if they're investing, if they're long on this industry, should you be selling right now? Not financial advice, but I'm looking at this. Every dip we get, even if we go lower, and we very well could dip back down below this the 80K mark into the 70s. But if we do, I right now I'm personally looking at that as just an opportunity to stack up more of my high conviction plays, which I have been doing all throughout these dips here. I think there's a very small chance that I'll end up regretting that we go into a crypto winter and do a full-on bear market and have to sit and hold those for a couple more years. That's again why we look at we always talk about your high conviction plays, projects you believe that aren't a flash in the pan, that aren't some trendy thing, that are going to be around and can withstand multiple months or years of a crypto winter. Always try to see the silver lining. I know it sucks when you look at your portfolio and you're down thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, whatever it happens to be, to still have faith, hold strong, not capitulate, and buy more. But these are the times that make or break degens in these markets. These dips we've talked about many, many times are not unheard of. It's very normal in a bull market. I don't think this is anything out of the ordinary there. This could go on. We talked last week in I think it was 2021. We had a 6-month window where we went down and sideways. And it took 6 months for us to get back to the previously set all-time high before we went up higher again. So these things can take time. Look at it as an opportunity. Let's talk about get that second job, get that hobby, go sell some stuff, flip some things from garage sales, whatever you got to do. If you can scrape together a few more bucks, now might be a good time to look at doing some of that and allocate some of that towards crypto.
Realistically, a lot of people tuning in haven't been here for the face melting portions of the market, which usually in the last 6 months or so. So those few $100 or those few $100 you can scrape together can be a few hundred, a few thousand, tens of thousands of dollars. We've seen it even in pre-sale markets. We were able to invest $1,000 or $2,000 in network, for example, and on top of the free NFTs that we got that are still worth a few $100 each. That bought my dad a 1969 Mach. $2,000 investment, bought a $90,000 car plus a $10,000 golf cart, plus paid some bills. So those type of things can happen, whether it's in pre-sale markets, meme coins, new launches, whatever. And you got to be vigilant. Parlaying that to the meeting on Friday, I want to see less rumors and less speculation right now. That way we don't get a sell the news event leading into Friday. If we see continued green leading into Friday and then they don't have any big thing like, hey, we're buying right now, there probably will be a sell the news event. Maybe it doesn't go to new lows, but there will be a sell-off. So less speculation, less rumors, guys. If you have insider information, stop posting about it, because then if it doesn't happen, you're going to crush the market, all right? Just trade on it. Trade on your own action. You know, Nancy Pelosi gets away with it all the time. So if you're on the inside of the government, stop leaking that news and just let it be, just in case it doesn't happen on Friday. And then lastly, you know, I want to mention this because I'm looking at the chart. I've been seeing some, you know, bullish snippets from Penu and the Pudgy Penguin team. And, you know, kind of reminds me of Solana with Sam Bankman-Fried when it was $1 or $2. The reason I want to mention that is because Penu now today is at new all-time lows. We sold our Penu airdrop. Okay, we sold our Penu airdrop at 3.75 cents. Right now, it is at 0.6 of a penny at new all-time lows. So stay tuned. I want to look at what the vesting schedule is on that one when there's more releases. But everybody who got free tokens already has all their tokens. We sold it at much higher levels. It's at new all-time lows right now. And I have been getting the vibes of Pudgy Penguin, which isn't going anywhere. He's, you know, he had the conviction of, hey, if this isn't a top layer 1, layer 2 this cycle, by the end of the cycle, hold me to it. Don't let me live it down, which is good. And then number 3, it is made in the USA. Not only is it a made in the USA token, it's a made in the USA NFT, and it's a made in the USA IRL product that you see in Walmart, whether it's the plushies or the toys or whatever. So I do think that one needs to be on your radar. Again, I need to look at the vesting schedule. I need to look at the valuations, but it is interesting seeing new all-time lows on Penu, and we sold that thing, you know, 83% higher already. So just put Penu on your watch list. A lot of things that could play out there, and you probably are going to get a value set up somewhere down here near their lows.
Yeah, and I think that goes for a ton of great projects right now. You know, even if you want to look at some of the dinosaurs, Chainlink is down, I think, around $15. Solana is absolutely just beaten and battered. Hell, if you want to do Ethereum, even there's a ton of amazing opportunities in the market right now. A lot of the top AI projects are down where we never thought we'd see them again. Certainly not during this bull run. So guys, get out there. Now's not the time to fade the markets and you know, step away because the markets are down and you're depressed. Now's the time to be doing more research, looking where you want to allocate whatever kind of funds you have to allocate. Again, not financial advice, but these are the kind of times you want to look for in markets to get yourself positioned well. Anything else you want to cover today here?
I was just going to say, on the flip side, for the people who are 100% long in crypto, you can't afford to put any more in, or you're not getting the income in. Look, been there, done that. I'm nearly 100% long. I think I got capital in my stock market portfolio for one more position, and in crypto, maybe one position or two, but really almost fully long. Again, looking at Penu and a couple of these things. So just understand, now's, you know, in my opinion, not the time to cheat. It's the time to do more research, keep an eye out the charts and the fundamentals. Make sure to keep compounding and collecting your passive income. If you've invested in pre-sales, even if you think they've quote unquote died or they're worth almost nothing, make sure to go collect all your tokens while you can. Get those in the wallets, understand what you own, where you own them, and just be prepared for when the market turns. Because mentally, you'll be in a better space knowing exactly where your tokens are. You already claimed all your pre-sale tokens. You got everything in your wallets, and you can take best advantage when things start pumping, whether you want to sell them, stake them, do something with them. At least you'll have a better full encompassing picture of where you are in that portfolio structure. Absolutely.
Gotta know where you are at all times. If you're not keeping track of your portfolio, if you don't have a system of how to keep on top of things, and I know it can get crazy, you know, you need to get that set up yesterday. So otherwise, you're just, you know, toss some cash into the wind, and you're gonna give up and keep track of it all. Especially if you're not doing this full time. I mean, we do this full time, and it's a job in and of itself just to keep track of everything. So yeah, great advice there, man. Well, cool. I guess to wrap it up here, a couple housekeeping items. As always, big shout out to Bybit, our main channel sponsor here. Up to $30,000 bonus. You can get the link right on our X page there. If you want to sign up with it for a new account there, the more you obviously deposit and trade, the higher that bonus is going to be. If you are a trader, if that is your game within the crypto space, we definitely encourage you to check that out. It really helps support the channel. And again, big thanks and shout out to Bybit. Some other things, we just wrapped up the first of our airdrops, $25,000 Tortoise airdrop, just wrapped up yesterday in the Telegram mini app. If you're not in the mini app yet, what are you waiting for? Get in there now. We're going to have a lot more coming. I think we just launched a new giveaway today, $200 in the Me3 token is up for grabs here. We've got lots more of those short-term giveaways that last anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. You can get in there and win yourself some real cash, some real crypto. And stack up some free bags there just by going, engaging with our content, playing mini games in the app there, and having some fun engaging with our community and our partners. So definitely, if you haven't checked that out, get busy on that. What are you waiting for? We've already given away, I think now, we're probably over $30,000. We have to be over $30,000 that we've given away just since the middle of December when we launched this app. So we're just getting started there. Got more airdrops coming in the future. As the market heats up here, you're going to see more and more giveaways in there, and you're going to see that Crypto Paradise bag continue to inflate as the value of the tokens inside that bag pump with it. Another big announcement, if you haven't heard, we are getting ready to launch the Surf token. Full details on what that is are in the post I have up here on the screen right now. Go check it out. It's pinned on the Crypto Paradise X page. But the best place to get all the latest breaking information is going to be in our Telegram group. If you're not in there, get in there. Yeah, we've got topics for the mini app, for pre-sales, for general topics in there to keep up to date on all the latest alpha going on with Crypto Paradise, whether that is giveaways in the mini app, new partnerships we've got, new pre-sales that we have, opportunities we have that we're getting involved with, or things like the launch of our Surf token, which is going to give you access to a ton of different stuff, including getting paid to hodl. We're setting up on Pulse Chain. They have an amazing tax ecosystem there that will help reward all the hodlers. It'll also go into, so a percentage of that goes back to Crypto Paradise that we can use for additional marketing, growing the community, and doing more giveaways. And on top of that, the Surf token is going to be your access into our DAO, where you can access pre-sales and help kind of determine where what the roadmap is for the Surf token in Crypto Paradise. So that's going to be coming soon. Again, the latest, greatest alpha is going to be in our Telegram group. That's where you're going to hear about it first. So if you haven't joined yet, get in there and join the conversation in the Crypto Paradise Telegram community.
Yeah, and I was going to say, people, they're like, Nick, you've always said fade KOL tokens, fade celebrity tokens, and that's done very well for us because, yes, maybe you can catch a pump on some of them, but 99% of them literally go to zero. And why do I think the Surf token is a little different? Well, it's because it isn't a Nick Hellman token or a Nate token or a Crypto Armor token. It's a Crypto Paradise token, which is a brand which drives revenue and has other utilities. Nate already kind of mentioned some of them. There is holding requirements to get into pre-sales. So for those of you who've already been through this multiple cycles and you like getting into pre-sales and you've seen the success of some of the best pre-sales, that is one of the utilities. The second is what Nate mentioned, getting in on the ground floor of Pulse Chain, which we think, I've been saying for 2 years that Richard Hart is going to beat the SEC. Look what happened. Okay, so I think you're getting on the ground floor of Pulse Chain. He has hundreds of millions of dollars that is set aside in the treasury to pump Pulse Chain. And with liquidity bonding, if Surf is paired with PLS, PLSX, INC, and HEX, those go up. It drags the Surf token higher as well. And then we talk about the tax system, in which has been kind of, where we saw reflection tokens on Ethereum, but they didn't work all that well. A, because the token economic structure wasn't proper. It wasn't deflationary passive income. It was inflationary passive income. But B, the token taxes, as far as the transaction taxes, are too high. So now we see an opportunity with Pulse Chain where the transaction fees are super low, and it's going to be all deflationary, meaning when you hold it, there is a percentage of that goes to holders as reflection rewards. This is from people who sold or bought the token, so it's always deflationary. A percentage is going to go directly to buying and burning the token, reducing the total supply. A percentage is going to go to LP ads, ever increasing the liquidity pools. So when this thing goes from a 5,000 market cap to a 5 million, to a 50 million, to a $100 million market cap, and people want to sell, those liquidity pools will be big enough to handle those sellers. And guess what? They get taxed on the way out, so that gets recycled to the holders and the believers in the ecosystem as well. And then on top of that, of course, Crypto Paradise does make revenue as an advisor. It makes revenue as a marketing agent, makes revenue for cross-collaboration on spaces and whatever it be. And a percentage of that revenue, potentially, will go to Surf token holders. And then lastly, a lot of these insider projects are not fair launches. The KOL themselves holds a massive amount of the tokens. Well, Surf token is going to be a completely fair launch with an airdrop component as part of it as well. And let me tell you, any tokens that myself or Nate or Ian gets, there probably isn't a reason for us to sell, because the better the token does, the better our community does, the more pre-sales we get, the more marketing deals we get, and that's really plenty of income for us. We're not relying on the income from selling the token, which means there is less sell pressure and more of a chance of up and to the right for the surf token as well. So that's kind of my overview of why I think this is different than just a KOL or celebrity token, and why I think early buyers, early holders, non-financial advice of surf token can make out like a bandit this bull market.
Hey, even your pup back there is excited about it. I hear him going off.
He's trying to pump it up.
That's right.
Surf token's going to do so well that the community is going to beg to know the name of my dog so we can list a dog token. That's how well surf token's going to do.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. As always, please like, comment, reshare. That really helps out the algorithm, helps make this more popular, helps get us more attention, which means we can get more partnerships and offer you guys more benefits, whether that be pre-sales, whether that be bonuses and giveaways in the mini app, or continue to grow this channel so that we can pass those benefits back to you guys, and soon it'll have benefits for the surf token as well. So appreciate all of you guys. None of this is possible without you guys. Yeah, I think that's it for us this week. Gonna be a very, very, very big next couple weeks in the crypto news space, so stay locked in here. Turn on the notifications. We're gonna be back with more live streams later this week. We'll definitely be covering some of what's going on Friday with the inaugural crypto summit at the White House. The next couple of weeks and months here are gonna be action-packed for the world, for crypto markets, for traditional markets. So keep locked in right here. We're going to bring you all the latest and greatest news and alpha so you can stay ahead of the markets. And with that, we'll see you on the beach.